2023 has been probably the most impactful year in gaming that we've had in a very, very, very long time. I say that as a person who thought last year was a really good year in gaming with Elden Ring and Horizon, A Plague Tale Requiem, Stray. Um, Last year was an amazing year in video games too. Um, the only thing I can come up with that I can compare to what we're doing this year, though, is the year of 2013, where we had Bioshock, we had The Wolf Among Us, um, we had Assassin's Creed, we had GTA 5, The Last of Us, Bioshock Infinite. Is this the top year in video games? Because before this year, I stood by 2013. That list of games was insane. That was an insane year. But this year, I can't play all the games that are out this year. There's not enough time to play the games that are out this year. I haven't got to Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate. I don't have the time for either one of them. As I bring up our list here, I just want this to sit with you. The games that I'm about to name isn't even all that we have. At this point in time when I'm recording this, this isn't even all the games out yet. We have the Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom, Dead Island 2, which is not up it's not going to be up for any game of the year. But boy did that surprise us on how fun Dead Island 2 is. Just overall just a fun game. Resident Evil 4 remake. Pikmin 4 is out. I'm not a Pikmin guy. I know a lot of people who weren't into Pikmin but played Pikmin 4 and really had a good time with it. Um I can't so much speak to that as somebody who never played a Pikmin game. It's never really piqued my interest. But just from the people that have played it, even those who've never been into Pikmin, a lot of people picked up on Pikmin 4 and have had a really good time with that. My personal favorite, Diablo 4. Another one, like me, a lot of people never played the other Diablo games and jumped in on 4. That's where I jumped in. And it's my favorite game this year. Scratch the season that everybody was disappointed in. Me, myself, I don't think it was the best season ever. I jumped into it, mindless killing demons in dungeons and completing quests and things like that. I'm just having a good time doing that, relieving stress, baby. I love Diablo. Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy. We also have, I know that the Forspoken came out. People weren't big on that. I'm actually really excited to get into Forspoken. I want to see for myself, though I know it's got some pretty not so well reviews on that. But even we'll leave Forspoken out. We got the Dead Space remake. Phenomenal. Jedi Survivor, Star Wars. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I should say. Street Fighter 6 came in and pumped in the breath of air into the fighting game genre that it so badly needed. Street Fighter 6, Chef's Kiss. Amazing game. As we look through here, Fire Emblem Engage. We also had, you know what? I'll sneak one on y'all that also won't be up for any game awards or anything like that, but just a fun game that came out this year that I think everybody should try. The SpongeBob game. Let me see if I could actually pull up the name of that. I forget which one that is. But I started off the year with SpongeBob. and just an overall like just really good game. And we also got Hi-Fi Rush, which kicked the year off for just an amazing game. Before we had the Diablo and the Street Fighters and the I think even Tears of the Kingdom. Before we even had that, Hi-Fi Rush came in and just hit it out of the park. And also I left out Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 came in out of nowhere, which we had a couple games. I would say Diablo 4 didn't have this kind of expectation coming into it. Baldur's Gate didn't have this type of anticipation coming into it. Hi-Fi Rush had zero expectation coming into this. Street Fighter 6, I will say from the trailers and things that people kind of got that vibe that it was going to be good, but I don't think we thought Street Fighter 6 was going to be this. But Baldur's Gate 3, and the SpongeBob game is Cosmic Shake. Baldur's Gate 3 just rose from out of nowhere in a year that seemed like no matter how great all these games were, your Diablo, your Street Fighter, just all the games that we named off, nothing was close to Tears of the Kingdom. Nothing came close to that. And out of nowhere, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be in the running for Game of the Year and has a high probability of winning. And so does Tears of the Kingdom. Both have a high probability of winning. This just became a fight. I didn't feel a fight, and I know some people did. Some people did feel a fight between God of War and Elden Ring last year. And all due respect to God of War, because it seems like a phenomenal game. I personally didn't play it, but it seemed like a phenomenal game. I've watched streamers play some of it, seen a few clips. Looks beautiful. I have my own personal reasons why I don't do God of War. Won't get into none of that here. But there wasn't a fight in that for me. I thought what Elden Ring did, and maybe I'm biased because it's my favorite game. I think it's the greatest game I've ever played. It is the greatest game that I've ever played. I can speak on that confidently as in myself. It's the greatest game I've ever played. I won't throw it out there as the greatest game ever, even though in my opinion I feel so. But I will just say for a fact it's the greatest game that I've ever played. I didn't feel that God of War stood a chance against that. What Elden Ring did was just so different and game changing, and did something I don't think God of War could do, which was get people who don't play Souls-like games to play a Souls-like game and enjoy it. Me. So, but this is not about Elden Ring. My point in saying that is, I thought this was going to be another runaway year for Game of the Year. But the competition this year, especially Baldur's Gate 3, has just made this a running with Tears of the Kingdom. Now, those were some of the games that came out. I could be missing some because it was just a crazy year. I know there's been other dope games. Just because I didn't name it, I kind of went for the big, huge name games. There, even the B games, or just games that you play, like the SpongeBob I was telling about, that little sleeper I threw in there. Those games are just good, solid, fun games. So there's a lot of good games here. Just because I didn't name it doesn't mean it wasn't like a great game this year. But I named you some that have came out. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you that Lies of P, the Dark Souls Pinocchio game, as in the time that I'm recording this, is not out yet. That game is going to be phenomenal. I played the demo. Looks like a great game. High expectations from me. I actually heard about that game last year and was super hype about it from the moment I heard it. I cannot wait to play that game. Starfield, as in the time that I'm recording this, is not out yet. Xbox, Microsoft badly needs that breath of air in their lungs to get them moving. And from everything I've seen, seems like it's going to do it for them. And they badly need that. We also still have Marvel's Spider-Man 2 that has not came out yet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is by far the best year in gaming we have ever seen. In this year alone, Tears of the Kingdom, arguably by some people, not by me, but by some people, Tears of the Kingdom is the greatest video game that they have ever played in their life. Tears of the Kingdom, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, to a lot of people, is the greatest game they have ever played in their life. Now, at the end of the day, all this stuff comes down to personal opinion. But the mass amount of people who believe that is the greatest game they have ever played in their life means that we can say this year we have one of, if you don't believe it's the greatest, we have one of the greatest games that has ever been played. And it came out this year. Then you have Baldur's Gate 3. Zero expectation. I'll be all the way honest. I didn't even know this game was coming out until the day it came out. The beta. And it just took the world by storm. It's highly innovating. Then we have the Diablo part of this, which had its own storm of Mommy Lilith and just a fun, simple, it's a simple story, but such a good story with Diablo 4. The dungeons, the getting with your crew, just doing all the renowned things, the character creating, man, the imagery, the dark, the different classes, I actually ran through with a sorcerer my first run. Had a lot of fun with that. Diablo really just, in this year, I was the most excited about Lies of P. I knew Lies of P would be my favorite. I played the demo. I loved it. But Diablo, I think, is easily going to come out as my game of the year. Which, of course, that's not going to be the masses at all. Look, I'm in a very small minority with that. I completely understand that. I'm off my rocker. That's fine. It's obviously going to be between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate, but in my own personal, Diablo is my personal favorite game that has came out this year. I think those three alone make this year one of the greatest. Then we get into Hogwarts Legacy. Not my type of thing. Haven't played the game. Don't know if I'm gonna play the game. But I'm leaning more towards not. But either way, the game sold. The game sold a lot of units. A lot of units. People are here's what I'll say. Here's what I will say about it. It looks like it's easily the best Harry Potter game that has ever been made. The character creating, especially for people of color, because I got to watch my nephews create their character on this game while I was at a family event. For the people of color and creating, it's some of the best you will get for people of color. Specifically black people. I can say that as somebody's black, I'll speak for being black. I watched my black nephews create a black character on Hogwarts, and it looked amazing. The hair texture was perfect, the skin tone, the facial features, just they really did it with that. Hogwarts Legacy, it looks amazing. It's a shame that it comes with the reputation it comes with, but I mean, just on a pure game standpoint, it looks phenomenal. It looks great. Final Fantasy 16. Another one that's just great. Story is so beautiful. The story of Final Fantasy 16, it's so great. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I didn't think I would play this game. I had zero hype for this game. I've tried 7 remake. I thought 7 remake was fine. 10 is my favorite. I really really love 10. 10 is up there for my favorite games that I've ever played. Final Fantasy 10 is great. I tried 9, didn't really care about 9. It didn't really make me cream my pants like a lot of people, but cream my jeans. I'm sorry, I completely messed up the phrasing there. um but Final Fantasy 16 looks so good. Yeah, super into it. Um, just looking at this list, man, I could sit here and just talk forever about some of these. The Star Wars game is the one that I'm not a Star Wars guy. Another one that I actually am not going to play this. Probably not. I don't know. I don't like saying that I'm not going to do something, but I don't plan on playing Star Wars. I don't like Star Wars in any kind of way. Look, I'm a nerd too. I'm definitely far from like the hardcorest of nerds because like Star Wars, Star Trek, I'm out completely. Like it's just not my thing. I don't like the shows. I don't like the movies. Don't care about the characters. Like I don't see any of the characters like Yoda. I know Yoda's a thing. Like I don't see Yoda or Darth Vader and think like, oh wow, this is amazing. Like I'm just like I don't know what I was going for there. I don't know if that was like a not like a terrible goofy impression, but anyways, yeah, Star Wars not my thing, but I've watched 2 people play the game and it looked fun. Like it looks like a good game. It's just weird for me to look past the Star Wars part of it. If it was something other than the Star Wars world, then I'd probably be a little more uh, into it. There's a chance that I still get into it, but I don't know. With so many games out this year, it definitely won't be this year. Um, we'll get into a little bit of the one Street Fighter that kind of what do I want to say about Street Fighter? Street Fighter 6 is if you've never played or let me take this back. If you don't play Street Fighter because you're not good at it, I feel like with the gaming, like especially online, here's what let me word it like this. Playing online, I had Street Fighter 5, didn't really like it anyways. There was a lot I didn't really like about it. I just didn't have fun with it. I'm not a big like get Street Fighter or any fighting game and play people online. I don't like playing them because I suck at fighting games. I'm not good. It's just me getting on there and getting destroyed over and over and over again. It's just a waste of time. And they don't offer anything fun for me in the stories with these games. Street Fighter offers so much for those who are away from the game because you have a similar opinion of mine, which is you don't want to play a bunch of people online. I haven't played a single match online on Street Fighter 6, but the story is fun. It's not a great written out Final Fantasy story, so don't go into it with those expectations. But it's just fun. It's what video games are supposed to be. Fun. It's just a fun video game. If you were to put if you were to score the funness of Street Fighter 6, it's a 10 out of 10 easily. 10 out of 10 easily. The moves, they have the simpler way to do the moves. If you can't do the move the stick, this zigzag and up down, hit circle and triangle at the same time. Like that type of stuff takes me away from the Mortal Kombats and the Street Fighters and all that kind of stuff because I never could do like the combo list and all that. But on here, they have it so much easier. It's like Street Fighter for dummies. And you can still be the combo guy if that's what you want to do. But they have much simpler ways to do those if you're not that type of guy. And I think that they cater to people who are more rookies to the Street Fighter franchise. If you've never played one or you don't like playing them or whatever, I would recommend getting into 6 because if it's something you're interested in, but you're just like, oh, I don't want to have to do these combos and play these people online who this is all they do, and I'm just going to get destroyed over and over again. Get it. play the story, there's a lot of side things you could do in that story. You could get clothes, customize your character, change hairstyles. You just have all these cool things you can collect. It's just a lot going on in Street Fighter 6, and man, was it good. Um, Liza P, I won't talk too much on it just because I've only played the demo. It's your Dark Souls type game. But it has the Pinocchio story, which to me makes it like super intriguing. They have the characters in there in different forms, like obviously the main character is Pinocchio. Pinocchio's father's in the game. Look, I'm not familiar with the Pinocchio story, so I don't know like names like that. I know the Blue Fairy Princess Lady Majiggy, she's in there. She's hot. Because why wouldn't she be? You know, like no matter what you're doing in video games, they have to be hot, and she's smoking hot. But it's a lot of fun. No way really to explain it other than it's very Dark Soulsy. So if you don't like Dark Souls games, you may not be into it, but at the same time, you may try it out. It's good. The demo is free. Fire Emblem. So I've never played a Fire Emblem game. Funny story. Watched the Twitch streamer play Fire Emblem Engage. I was like, man, this looks really cool, but it's like a strategy game. Don't know if I'd be good at this. Everybody on my team would die. But I watched that person play a lot of it. I was super into Fire Emblem Engage watching it. I was like, I still don't know if it's something I would play just because I'm not good at strategy games. On my Nintendo Switch, I've been playing the Fire Emblem game on the Game Boy Advance because I have the expansion pack, and I was like, well, let me try off with this, and man, that's good. So I'm definitely going to be jumping into Fire Emblem Engage real soon, before the year is over, real soon. But it looks amazing, and just from what I've seen from the story, lots of fun. But I'll be doing a video here soon about my predictions on Game of the Year this year, as far as who's in the nominations and who I think is going to win. But as of this, just looking through these games, I know 2013 was a crazy year. Y'all put in the comments below which you think is the best year, because I'm sure there's other people who don't think 2013. For me, it was 2013, and it's this. Like, that's 1 and 2. But I think this year is by far, I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close. I think this year is the greatest year in video games that we have ever seen. It's just too much, man. It's way too much. But thank y'all. I just wanted to get on here for a little bit and just share my opinions on this year. Share your opinions below. Just wanted to share a little bit of my opinions on this year. Real quick, because I left out Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, 2 remakes. Both phenomenal. That's how remakes are done. Both phenomenal. Shout out to Dead Space and shout out to Resident Evil 4. I completely forgot to go through those while we were talking through this. But 2 amazingly well done remakes. Also, Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is just a lot of fun. Hi-Fi Rush is another one that I just say 10 out of 10 on fun. Just a really fun game, which I feel like we've been missing a lot in gaming, which I feel like this year brought back, was just fun in games. Especially last year, we had Horizon, we had Elden Ring, we had God of War, all fun games. Not saying they're not, but they're so story heavy, which is funny to say about Elden Ring. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can have a story in a game without a cutscene. I know it's insane that if you don't have a lot of cutscenes, it can still be a story. If you have to go out and look for it, it can still be a story. I know that's hard to like comprehend that, but those games are so serious and have so much story to it that sometimes we need that balance of video games. Just like, I'm not really looking for a hardcore story. I'm looking for fun. And I feel like we got that from Street Fighter 6. I feel like we got that from Hi-Fi Rush. I feel like we got that from that SpongeBob Cosmic Shake game. We still have Mortal Kombat. That another game, just fun. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We can go all day. I try to leave a lot of those games off because we know they're not going to be like high up for Game of the Year or anything like that, or they're not scoring perfect 10s or anything like that. But just a fun year. Like I said, it's not just about the top games that are award-winning games. It's also just, hey, what is something fun on the side I could do that I don't need put a lot of effort into? And even those have been just great fun games. So yeah, I'm signing off. 2023 to me, the best year in video games. And let me know in the comments what you think, because I'm sure we have a lot of disagreements. I'm sure people here wouldn't agree. But thank y'all for hanging out with me. Love y'all. I'll do a little more quick little videos like this. And I'll see y'all next time around.